the Opelka Studios in Oklahoma City, this is OU Football with Jake Trotter. I'm Jenni Carlson. Jake, a disappointing road loss on Saturday, to say the least, for the Sooners. Going to Texas A&M, losing down there, really getting dominated in a lot of ways. What, in your mind, went wrong on Saturday?
A lot went wrong. I think you look at the way the game started. You give up the safety right off the bat. Again, it's the same thing at Missouri. You ensure the crowd is going to be fired up and in the game throughout, and then you allow A&M to score a touchdown thanks to a huge play on the quarterback run. I mean, right then and there, you're in trouble. You can't be down 9-0 on the road, 2:58 or whatever it was into the game.
This is a game, though, that OU had chances. They had chances to get back in this thing. They were knocking on the door. They were deep in A&M territory several times. And the goal line offense, horrendous.
And you have to credit OU for this. They came out in the third quarter, whatever the halftime speech was, fired up. And then all of a sudden, A&M takes the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown. And again, you're right back where you were, starting the half terribly. But they really battled back, dominated both sides of the ball the third quarter, got the run game going. The defense was forcing 3 and outs, and they were scoring touchdowns. It was 19-17.
Yeah.
And then the fake field goal, which would have been just one of the great plays in OU history, at least in the Stoops era, falls through the hands of James Hanna. You got to give John Nimmo all the credit. He threw a perfect pass in that situation, but just wasn't meant to be.
Nimmo would have been a folk hero after that, but they missed. But then they drive again on A&M. What went wrong on those goal line stands? You're insider today. You talked to Kevin Wilson about that. What do you pinpoint on those goal line stands that were problems?
Well, there were a lot of things that were wrong. First of all, the offensive line was not getting the push. And, this is an offensive line we have to remember that has 2 converted tight ends, a center coming off a broken fibula, and then tackles who really, haven't played a whole lot. And the rest of the guys were part-timers or walk-ons or didn't play. So you look at the offensive line, it doesn't really have the pedigree of a dominating offensive line like we've seen in the past at Oklahoma. And you got to be able to go on the road and establish the run and run the ball when you need to. And OU just hasn't been able to do that, and it was more evident, obviously, at the goal line because they couldn't get points. But, if I was Kevin Wilson, maybe you try a play-action pass, maybe you throw a fade to Ryan Broyles, something, because they were not running between the tackles against Texas A&M.
Thanks, Jake. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman. Remember, our OU coverage is brought to you by Loft 401.